how to say, for fire, wood, okay,
yeah.
to go search wood, to do everything. The men it is only for eating. In the camp, it was it was a different tribe. It was the majority. It was one tribe was a majority, had a majority, like 90%.
So 90% was from one tribe.
The majority, the
okay,
one
wow,
tribe.
okay.
Yeah. And then now they dominate all things, like a small job in the camp. From because the camp there was some organization, international organization, a local organization to help the refugee. There was some job, small job. Now the majority it is them who reaches the job in the camp. Now the minority, it was hard for the minority. Now we suggest that how to do to help the minority.
Were you part of the majority or the minority?
Me, I was in the minority.
Okay.
Minority, and we started how to do to help the women, and we tried to organize some association to help the minority or to resolve some problem, like in the. There was in the camp, there was a common to have a water. How to the type of water? Yeah, tap water is a common. You can go in the type of, you could have 500 people they waiting for water. Yeah, 1,000 is there for waiting to have a water. Now it was a trouble every time, a box, a bit every time a box. Now. We tried to see how to resolve this problem, and we organized an association called the DPD. In French, is the Droit de l'homme et développement. It's the human rights and the development, and we tried to do the campaign to sensibilize the people. We do campaign in the village. It was one international organization called the World Vision. They give us a megaphone,
Yeah, megaphone, yeah.
Megaphone. And now we round in the village for campaign to preach the women, the peace in the camp.
So for women's rights and opportunities.
Yeah, for women.
Equality.
Yeah. And the minority that how, and we get in the office that the World Division to explain how they can help the minority, because the World Division, there was international, there was some local from Tanzania. They didn't know about the problem, a minority and the majority. It is as our association and another association. We reported it to them that we have a problem here in the camp. Look at the problem. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. We have to help also the minority to do this, to do this. And the organization, the officer and the students, they told okay, and they work it together. They help us. Like they bring some clothes, the old clothes, that old clothes.
Second hand.
Second hand. Maybe from here in Europe, I don't know. I don't know.
Clothes from Ireland, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was that.
How many years then were you living in Tanzania as a refugee?
21 years.
21 years altogether. And how many children did you have in that time?
At the time, I had 4 children.
4 children.
Yeah.
And was there school opportunities? Or were they able to go to school while they were living?
Yeah, they had a school in the refugee camp. UNICEF told the UNICEF and the Tanzania government, the UNHCR, and the Congolese government, together they told that the children should have education. They opened school in the camp. At the university was in the camp. Primary school, secondary school, at the university.
When you first found out about being resettled and being sent to Ireland. Did you want to go? Like, what were your thoughts? Or did you think maybe that you wanted to return to the Congo instead?
At the time, because many people get a resettlement, like in Australia, in USA, in UK, in Canada. Me also, I had the idea if I can get a resettlement, but it was hard to get a resettlement. It was like a chance, or it was I don't know what. Some people use the money, yeah. Some people it was a chance. You can do the interview and you can lose your interview. Now when I get it, I get the information that my case is admitted by the island. I was very, very happy. My family was very happy. Yeah, my family was very happy.
And what did you first think about Ireland when you heard about moving here? And what was your first impression of Ireland when you arrived?
When we arrived here, the first event was like cold. Cold.
Oh, cold. Oh, yeah.
It was cold. But because the cold didn't do anything, because we had the story. We know it. We have the story about the island before. That island is good. It is only the cold. And then now we told you that maybe cold, because we lived in the hard condition in the camp. The cold didn't do anything, because we know that is the cold only we will be. We will be.
You can contend with the cold.
Hmm?
You can contend
You
with
can-
the cold.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, we will be okay.
Okay.
We will be okay.
You'll work with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and what did you think? What did you think of Cavan when you first arrived in Cavan? What did you think of the town and the community and the people? And
We think that the Cavan is good. When we arrived here, because we was welcome with the justice officer, officer from Justice Department, from the airport to here in Cavan. And when we get here in Cavan, we get some many people waiting for our family, like the voluntary people. They're waiting in our house, and they told you welcome. It was good. It was a nice day, and they started to show us some, like an hospital, a school. Many things is good. The people, Cavan people, I can say that are good welcome. Are good welcome. And are good welcome. And we appreciate them.
one thing I want to ask you about, though, that you mentioned earlier, you had some idea about Ireland before you came here, because you used to listen to Irish country music when you were in Tanzania. I just find that fascinating.
Yeah, we had the idea. People told us that Ireland is good, because Ireland is quiet. You know, in Europe, when there is some country, we know that the country is not quiet. The political, I like the political. But until Africa, we know that the island is quiet. The island people are very, very quiet.
And how many years have you been living here then?
Sorry?
How many years have you been living in Cavan?
Now, in February, I will get 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
And there are other people who moved from the Congo to Cavan as well. Like, there's other families here who also moved. And is there a good community among all the different people from the Congo living here?
Yeah, we live good. We live good.
And
Okay.
is it important for your children that they know about Congolese culture and the language, and that they don't become too Irish?
I think they will be Irish automatically. We think when we will get 5 years, we will apply for Irish nationality.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will be 5 years. We will change. We will be Irish nationality.
And would you ever want to go back to the Congo?
To the Congo, we don't have the idea for what again. It is difficult because they were still in the Congo. Actually now, they were still.
And then, Sean, I'm going to turn to you. How did you and Tutu meet originally? So you guys wrote this amazing book together, all about Tutu's experience and his journey here. But how did you two meet?
Well, the previous year, 2015, I did a bit of work with the local IFA on their anniversary book. So through that, Tutu was wanted to tell his story, to actually put it down on paper for his children and his grandchildren, to know where they came from, and also to introduce the Congolese community to the people of Cavan. So through Tus, they knew I had done a wee bit of writing, and so we met in Cana House one day, and we seemed to hit it off fairly quickly. We started off he was doing his book through Swahili and putting it through Google Translate, which we discovered wasn't a very good way of doing a book. So basically, Tutu would come in with his Google translation, and then we just basically work from there. And the whole story is Tutu's. All I was doing translation for him to put it in. And but it didn't take us long. We really got on really well, and he confided in me an awful lot of personal stories, and some of them are in the book, some not in the book. And it was an absolute pleasure working with them, and it does put your life in perspective. We all have our problems, and we all whinge and moan about the weather and all this, and coming from the Congo at 40, 50 degrees heat, coming to Ireland was obviously a huge shock, and talking to other members of the Congolese community, as Tutu said there, the cold was huge, but because of where they were coming from, it was no big deal. But working with them and hearing of their lives, like working, they doing jobs from the 10, 12, not like us doing it just to get a bit of pocket money to buy school books, to actually survive. A lot of them had to start working on market stalls, harvesting grass for thatch and roofs, in where there'd be snakes going around and young children dying from snake bites. It was very life and death, and as I say, it puts everything into perspective.
And there's other people in the book, there's other people from the Congolese community in Cavan who talk about their experience as well. Yeah. How well received then was the book, and how important was it for them to get their stories written down and to get their experiences acknowledged, and how was it received then among the community?
Well, that was funny at the very beginning, when obviously Tutu wanted to get his story down, and then we thought we'd bring in some more people, but a lot of them were a bit suspicious about why they wanted to hear the story, and I had to assure them that it was just for a book. There was no ulterior motive to it or anything like that. And at first, some of them were very reluctant to talk, but then, as it kind of gathered pace, a lot of decided, yeah. And again, all their stories from childhood, their struggles, and to get here, and they're quite amazing. And every day, that you'd meet them, they're smiling and happy, and so happy to be here, both for themselves and their children and future generation. So appreciative of the opportunities for education and things like that. And it was an absolute pleasure to work with them.
And what inspired you the most when you were writing the book about Tutu and about his journey and about the other people who come from the Congo.